What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Not in my usual setup, as I've been telling you all, having some construction done to my home office. So I'm actually doing this live show on Thursday, August the 21st, 2025, from my kitchen table. When I first moved in, when my wife and I first moved into this house, I did a few podcasts, few shows, few things from this table. One of them was a hit on a show that I love, the Jersey Boys podcast, whose MC, whose host, whose main man, main honcho, general manager extraordinary, if you will, is with us tonight from Chop Sports and from basically every single wrestling ring in the world, according to his Instagram. It is Dave Sturchio. Sturch, long time no see, my friend.
Long time no see, long time no hear. And I did one of those moves last night. I was finishing up the documentary, and I pulled a Leonardo DiCaprio, and I was watching it, and I saw your mug pop. I was like, oh, whoa, wait, hold on. And then I realized you were on it for that little time, and that was awesome. But yeah, it's been good, man. Outside of this whole mess we're in right now, everything else has been pretty good.
Well, that's the mess aside. I'm glad to hear that you finished the documentary. I have some thoughts, and I haven't seen it, and appreciate you and everybody who told me about it. So far, I've avoided the context of how I'm in it, so I have no idea. I have an idea just based off of the episode number, and then I saw.
So there was no actual like, hey RJ, could we like use your content?
No, there was nothing. So like,
get your royalties, bro. What are you doing?
So if so facto, the powers that be at Netflix are like looking at this is where they found it, the YouTube channel. So like, this is the next thing. You know what I mean? This conversation, who knows, may be a part of the very next documentary that Netflix is a part of. But it's me, Ozark. You know what I mean? We all park our cars in the same garage now, basically. Right. So it was very cool. But thank you, and thank you to everyone who has said something. I haven't been able. I've felt so busy with the construction in my house. This stupid thing taking up all my time. I haven't even watched this week's episode of Hard Knocks. There's golf stuff I want to watch. Same. I'm trying to play video games. I'm trying to just live a normal life, and I can't, Sturch, because the Dallas Cowboys are insistent on ruining everything. Now, we tweeted about this a little bit on Thursday, and we're going to kind of go through the day that was to set the context for anyone who missed it. But I wanted to have you on because in all the conversations we've done in the past and all the podcasting and live streaming and everything that I've ever seen you do, you wear your heart on your sleeve. And I mean this in a very positive way right now. You can be a homer. You can drink the Kool-Aid, and I think you actually, in an objective way, try to take the team side. You always want to believe that the team is coming from a place of legitimacy, a place of reason, and I feel like it just eats you up when you find out that Santa Claus isn't real, so to speak. And right now, we're in the middle of those emotions kind of battling, and it's becoming a matter of who do you believe relative to Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it's funny. Brett Ernst refers to it as "Dad's not coming home," right? Like that, like you saying Santa Claus. It's almost the same thing. Like you're just waiting. You're like, all right, well, Dad's coming home.
My
right?
fellow
like,
Netflix co-star Brett Ernst, by the way.
You guys are literally Cobra Kai documentary. I get it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I usually do side with the team. I'm always optimistic as much as I possibly can be. I'm not one of those Cowboys fans that pump the chest and say this is our year every year. I don't do that. Like if I see glaring holes in this team, like, yeah, fine, let's address them and see if they can get over the hump. But yeah, I mean, this whole thing, we called it last year on any podcast I would do. It was just like, okay, the Dak thing stinks and the CeeDee Lamb thing stinks, and like, let's just do this. And I was like, well, wait a minute, hold on. This is all going to come full circle in about a year from now, and here we are. So it's bad, man.
You mentioned the podcast. Once upon a time, you did the First and 10 podcast with Tony Catalina and Aiden Davis. I don't know if you've seen yet, but Tony is in the chat and said that he first of all couldn't even spell your name right. All the shows you guys did together. So you can call him Lilo, I guess. You know what I mean? But Sturch had to jump on live to distract him from the fact that his Yankees are losing to the good guys.
It's 4-3 right now in the middle of the 8th. So I'm not, let's all calm down. And I'm going on Saturday actually to Yankee Stadium against my better judgment, but it is what it is.
That's a whole different set of problems that I don't want as a Houston Astros fan. We finally got off the schneid, beat the Orioles tonight, felt pretty good. Okay, so let's set the stage for today. I was going to pull the clip from Fox News But they're really intense about this. A little bit of like how the sausage gets made from a timeline standpoint. John Machota tweets out the clip that Jerry's speaking on. I don't know, it was this Fox and Friends. I'm really not certain. I don't know what Jerry was promoting. I assume the documentary, but I really don't know. But he's on there. He says whatever, says a whole bunch of nothing about Micah. And Machota tweets this out, and I wrote about it. And within like 5 minutes, I got an email from someone in their PR department that was like, please credit the show title. Like,
wow.
I've had that happen a few times with different things, but usually it's like a 24-hour thing. You know, like this was like, what kind of AI are you guys using over here? So
that was rapid response.
Yeah. So I didn't want to pull the clip here and then just like nuke this video. So so that happened first, where Jerry said he inferred that they're building a puzzle. Essentially a twist on the pie analogy, which the fact that Charlotte said was just
I saw your video on that and I was like, man, is he spot on with that one? I was like, gosh, she was our saving grace. She was like, maybe there is some sanity in the Jones family. Let's hear from Charlotte. And it's just like, no, we're all the same here.
It was so disappointing. And like my video was just reaction, not the actual clip of her saying it. She said it with such like seriousness, like it wasn't like it wasn't like blinking, like get me out of here, I'm being held against my will. Like she really believed it, which is just really disappointing. But so Jerry says we got to build this puzzle, whatever stupid crap as always. And then from a timeline standpoint, about 3 o'clock, I think, when Michael Irvin's podcast or YouTube show premiered, Jerry was on it. They had teased this during the day, and there was a lot that came from this, but this is the meat, and this is kind of why we're here. I'm going to play this clip. It's a few minutes long, Sturch, so hopefully everyone will bear with us. This is Jerry Jones and Michael Irvin on Michael Irvin's YouTube show.
I have agreed to give more money than has ever been given in terms of guaranteed money than anyone ever has as far as a defensive player. I've done that. Now, I am the cat that writes the check. Okay? Now, Mike has got 3 years with the Cowboys left. He's got 3 years. At some point, somebody has to have the say over the other. At some point, it has to be that way. My job is managing the check. Okay? Micah's got to do the playing. Where's the least important part of this whole equation we're talking about? What is the least incremental part of the whole equation? The attorney or the agent. Okay? He works for Micah. Okay? He's not the principal here in any way. In any way. They're in here to make their percentage. They're in here to basically, yes, advise Micah. Come over to the office and I'll show you exactly what I offered Micah. We got it in the back. It's with all written down, everything to go. Come down and look at that.
I'm going to get over there and see that.
Yeah, you can sure look at it. You can sure absolutely look at it. Here's my entire point. Entire point. Who is it that basically says this is ultimately recognizing we're trying to come together for an agreement, but absolutely, who is it that can go with it? And so the facts are, I don't know that I've ever been around. I've never tried to buy anything. I've never tried to do anything that I actually was going to bring all of the services and somebody else was going to do all the money. But because the in-between guy wasn't exactly the guy that I had fit there, that kept you from doing the deal.
Right.
That's exactly what's happening here. So many times in this industry, you have a different agenda going on with agents. A different agenda. They're playing a game. You tell me, are agents incentivized to not only get the most for that player, but they're trying to get what? They're trying to get other players because they got a high agenda for that player.
Right.
That's their incentive. Okay. Attorneys, exactly the very same way. And as you know, I do a lot of business. I do a lot of business straight with the principals, not with the attorneys. I do my time when the deal gets done face to face with the principal, not with the attorneys.
Right.
Not with the agents. So I'm just saying that nobody appreciates Micah Parsons any more than the Cowboys or me. Nobody has ever offered him more money than I have to play football.
Right.
Period.
This doesn't include the line where Jerry says that Micah's agent told them to you've always been quicker to curse than I have, Sturch, but told them to take the offer where the sun don't shine. But this was that was kind of the money quote, but this was like the meat of what happened. Your thoughts first. You are the guest.
I don't know if I'm blurry or not. I'm coming.
Yeah, you are. I don't know what's going on here. That's interesting. I think you'll focus as you move around. Yeah.
It's all Micah Parsons. Look, dude. It's alarming. The video itself doesn't really do any favors for anybody. It's just, I don't know. I'm not one to be a loss for words, right? And maybe it's upsetting because now we know what's out there for him. We know what the money was, regardless of the actual numbers. We know exactly what he was trying to do and trying to accomplish. Right? We're gonna make him the highest guaranteed. Again, that could not be salary wise. Guarantee was going to be out there. That's everything that any NFL player wants is a high guarantee, and he was about to get the most. If this is all true, and a lot of people are like, well, you're going to start believing Jerry now. Like at this point, why would he lie? Why would he lie? And I'm going to try to fix my camera. So
yeah, okay. So while you work on the camera,
keep going. I'll jump back.
A few weeks ago, when they were still in Oxnard, Jerry had Sturch is going to fix his camera, so we're good. I'll wait till Sturch comes back to make my point because I'm curious for his thoughts on it. DJ says Jerry is senile. Just pay the guy already. We put Connie's comment up here that said, "Please, Jerry, if you could see this, pay Micah." This is a tough. Like I agree with Sturch that nobody looks good right now. We're gonna get to Micah's response, if you want to call it that, I suppose, that he offered on social media or by way of social media, I should say, on Thursday, but. This is a very everyone looks petty, everyone looks small, everyone looks insecure, everyone looks ridiculous. Sturch is now back. I think your camera's good. So this was the point I was going to make, and before I started vamping, and I'm paraphrasing the points, but when they were still in Oxnard, because to answer your question of why he would lie. To answer your question,
at this point, you can lie all the time, but like
I think of that like that's a valid question for like anyone in a position of power. Like I think about that all the time. Like, why would you lie when your whole life is documented? You know what I'm saying? Like that's just stupid. But he did somewhat lie or exaggerate about, and we found this out about the negotiations that they had with Dez. When he offered that quote when they were still in Oxnard, he offered the specifics, and then Dez got into it on social media, said, "Hey, don't be dragging me into this." And then his agency that represented him at the time for the deal came out and said, "Hey, none of that is true." And so I agree with you logically. Like, why would say none of that is true, or say part of it isn't true, or say it can easily be proven to not be true? Like, why would he set himself up to look like a fool? Like, I mean, like we're way past the point of that question being valid. You know what I'm saying? Like with regards to Jerry and how he operates, like that would be like saying why wait longer like this when you know it's going to cost more. We don't have the answer to that. You know what I'm saying? Like it is an illogical way to go about this whole process. Yeah. I don't want to be a skeptic. I really don't. I really love that about your spirit for the Cowboys. I really want to believe that, whatever. But like you said, you can manipulate how the offer sounds, right? Like you can manipulate and say, oh, we're offering him this, we're making him the most, and we're doing this, the most, this, whatever. Like we see that all the time whenever the top insiders are like, oh, this deal was brokered by Agent X and it features the most, whatever for a slot receiver coming out of the Pac-12 back in the day or whatever. So none of these things are concrete data to me that Jerry's offering. Like you offered him the highest guaranteed of any, non-quarterback, any defensive player. Cool. That makes sense. Like I recognize that that's a lot of money, but that makes sense. I used to, when I was living in San Antonio, I was so mad like everyone at Kawhi Leonard. And I remember when he wanted out, thinking like, man, this dude, because he was forfeiting the supermax that he was eligible for with the Spurs. And I remember talking to some guys in the local news about it, and they were like, you have to recognize what he's forfeiting. It sounds like $30 million. It sounds like something crazy to you, but to him, like he's dealing in numbers that are way beyond this. So like to say you're offering Micah the most of Eddie, whatever, like that makes sense. Like that's what he's worth right now.
And remember, that was at the time. So like he offered it in March. So we don't know, like since then we've gotten the Myles Garrett deal. We've gotten the TJ Watt deal. We don't know what that stacks up against now. But my biggest issue right now is the fallout after the fact. I believe Mulugeta was told about this or asked about his feelings. He said no comment, right? And then it's like, okay, cool. You want to play coy? That's cool too. But like an hour later, Micah scrubs all the Cowboys stuff from his social media. So what I think has happened is he literally has said to Micah Parsons, that I'm talking about Mulugeta, he might have went and said, can you believe this? Can you believe all this crap? You know, are you with me or are you against me? I need you to make the next move without me having to say anything. And I think this is the next move. And this is such a Gen Z move, you know, like a younger person move. Like, oh, I'm just going to remove all my Cowboys stuff. And I'm going to tell everybody to be determined where I'm going to play. Look, man, the facts are the facts and the contract is the contract. If you want to play football this year, Micah, it's got to be for the Cowboys unless you're dealt. And at this point, there's no reason to deal you. So you're either going to sit around and do nothing this year and lose money, or you're going to go play and you're going to chase your dollars and make yourself even more valuable. I don't know. But at this point, the leverage, I mean, people, you know, anybody who says the Cowboys will be better off, it's like, you're silly. But like at the same time, you know, you got to weigh the pros and the cons here. And what we have here is apparently a contract offer, apparently a handshake deal, which nobody wants to hear about anymore. But apparently now it's on the surface. Like Jerry wasn't able to say that in the documentary, but now a day or two later, he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, you know, like I offered him the most guaranteed money he's ever seen in his life. And everybody's like, whoa, you know, so I think that's the biggest hiccup now. It's like he went against the grain. You never hear Jerry actually talk numbers ever, you know, for him to say out there like, oh, no, we offered him the highest guarantee of any defensive player ever in the NFL. That's where I'm just like, okay, man, sign the dotted line. Like, let's just get this done. You know what I mean? Like it's there and it's just not. It's just there's such a I don't even know.
So we obviously don't know the particular. So it's still, I get what you're saying, but it's difficult to say either side is 100% wrong, right? Like it's completely fair to say like the fact that you dragged this out complicated this. Micah, the fact that you had an informal conversation with Jerry complicated this, right? Like I think that's Micah individually. Micah's biggest crime here is that he got too lax potentially in the, you know, what was reported to be an informal casual conversation, and then tried to, you know, or still trying maybe to put some of the toothpaste back in the tube. You used the phrase going against the grain. I would argue that most players don't ride with the grain of the NFL. The only one we've seen really do that was Dak, and everybody got mad at Dak right when he was like, look, I have to look out for like the union. I have to look out for the NFLPA. They're the like future, you know, the Arch Mannings of the world will profit because I'm gonna, you know, and I'm profiting because the Peyton Mannings of the world, you know, blaze this trail for me as well. I think
it's all valid.
Right. No, I mean, it's all like, you know, capitalism. And I don't mean that in like a negative way, but like get your money, like we're all rooting for everyone to get what they can. But so that being said, I think that the Micah's the first one who is like, and I wouldn't say it's going against the grain. I think Micah's like, okay, you want to go 10 rounds? I think Micah, to stick with that analogy, Micah's fit enough to go the 10 rounds. He's strong enough to go the 10 rounds, and he's probably going to win, right? And he has a better trainer. He's more suited. Like this is a prized fighter type thing. Dak ultimately, I think, didn't have to go the 10 rounds because the Cowboys rang the bell.
What do you think a win looks like right now for him? What's a win look like? An extension for the team that he claims doesn't want to be a part of? You know what I mean? Like, what's the win for him?
I think we're deep enough that now it's more than just money. Granted, money, and this is a popular saying right now, like money solves a lot of problems, but like there has to be some like, I'm sorry. And the I'm sorry can be monetary. The way like for Dak, it was putting him in a position to have all the financial contractual power, the no tag clause, everything like that, like to fully say like, Dak, you are our daddy. That's what they did. I mean, Dak's like, this is still a crazy thing that his agency did a podcast this offseason that literally was all about like, look at how we drag these guys. Like we put them in the mud. Like they literally said that on a podcast. But like they can, because the win was that big. So I think in whatever terms, it has to be that big for Micah, right? And I think if you're Micah, like I know we're all scared or whatever, but like you've come 9 rounds. Like, so why tap out now? You know what I mean? Like, and I think the scrubbing of social media, as silly as it is, and that move's been around for a long time at this point, but it's like, what else? He's trying to send a message, whatever. Like I think the next move is like, does he show up tomorrow? You know what I mean? Does he go to?
Well, I was very curious, because the next step is a ball game to be played, right? We have to evaluate to get down to the 53, right? Tomorrow is the last chance to do that, and then like training camp, preseason is officially over, and then you have some silent period, cut down days on Tuesday, and like then you have a week and a half to gear up for Philadelphia. Now, is that enough time for Parsons to just say like, all right, let's get the new deal. Let's get this done. Let's get back to practice. Yeah, I think Schottenheimer kind of made that clear. Like, dude, he can not practice at all. And
I feel so bad for him.
I really do too, man.
He's just strapped to this thing. Like he's just like, and the idea that, I'm sorry, like to be rude to him, but like the idea that he has any influence on this, it's like, Brian, respect on doing your press conferences, man. But like,
I've never felt so bad for a guy like a coach of the Cowboys. Like when it was Garrett, you're all like, oh, that dude deserves it, whatever. When it was Wade Phillips, you're like, he's a cupcake anyway. Brian Schottenheimer came into this thing saying like, damn, I got myself a decent squad here. Like let's roll. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, by the way, remember that time we had one of the best edge rushers in the world? Yeah, no, he's not going to be there.
I agree with you completely. To be clear, but I felt maybe worse for Mike McCarthy. And I don't mean to make this about him, but a year ago, the man had to go into like Brian Schottenheimer, they may suck this year, but like, they're not going to fire him. We all know that. Like it's not going to be a lean Christmas in the Schottenheimer household this year, but like Mike McCarthy was fighting for his job and for like his public dignity. And they were like, oh, your quarterback. Yeah, we're going to F this up. Your wide receiver, we're really going to F this up. Your own contractual status, we're going to embarrass the crap out of you. You want a good defensive coordinator, and he wound up being good. So I have a little bit of egg on my face here, but like, we're going to pull this dude out that hasn't been in the NFL in forever because he's already in our HR system and we don't have to add a whole new profile. You know what I mean?
Not a lot of paperwork.
Yeah. And so like, my point is like, they're doing the most important people, whether you think Brian Schottenheimer is awesome or you thought Mike McCarthy was awesome, they were at their respective times the head coach of the team. Dak Prescott's the quarterback of the team. CeeDee Lamb's the star wide receiver. Micah Parsons, the best player on the team. Like counting, Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer is one person because it was different years. You could argue those are the 4 most important people on the in the building.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is how they're getting done. So I mean, like, I don't know what I believe anymore. Ken says in the chat, Micah Parsons will play week 1 versus the Eagles. I think I don't say this in like a panicky, like this feels different, Sturch, but like it clearly is different. But I kind of have lost the energy to be like scared. I know I said that a moment ago, or be excited. Like if the extension gets done tomorrow, I'm not going to be like, let's go. I'm just going to be like, fine. Thank goodness. Like I'm happy, but like, this is still really dumb.
I literally said that right before we went on the air. I said, a lot of people are taking my Micah tweets as like this anti-Micah thing. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I guess I'm old school and I think that this should have been done. And I think Mulligetta's the punk right now in all of this. That's my opinion. Right. But at the end of the day, I said, I love Micah Parsons. I think he's one of the best players in the world at what he does. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, look, you can either sign him, great, or don't, great. I don't know what. We're not getting any farther or closer to a Super Bowl just based off of this negotiation, right? Like the goal is obviously a Super Bowl. The Cowboys built to win a Super Bowl this year. More than likely not, but it's 30 years. You got the documentary, you got the juices flowing, everybody's excited. But at the same time, everybody, and I know you are too, everybody's exhausted. I said Terry McLaurin's at the same thing happening right now in Washington. How much have you read about Terry McLaurin? You just haven't. Haven't. And maybe it's 2 different things because he's not like the top dog like Micah is on the edge, but like you never hear anything like this about any other team. And maybe because we cover the Cowboys and we do all the Cowboy stuff, so we're knee deep in it. But I really feel like I can't go to the gym every day and see the TV, that the big projector screen that they play at my gym every day.
It's a gym.
Right? ESPN, there's a Cowboy topic. That's it. They need us. They need us to be in peril at all times. Because I said to everybody under the sun, I said, if the Cowboys ever actually do fall into a Super Bowl and win it, this world is going to be inside out, upside down, and I will be the most intolerable person you've ever met in your life.
Oh yeah, so like we're gonna atone, like we're gonna make up. You know what I mean? I'm fully there with you. I mean, this is one of our biggest like disagreements in life. I'm not a WWE person. Like it's just never, and I have nothing against it. Like it's just not my thing. Like I just can't get into it. Like I've tried. It's just not my thing. This exhausts me in the way I think maybe like hardcore WWE fans maybe felt at some point in their lives, where they were like, you know what, I'm just kind of sick of the like show of it all. Like it just, at a certain point, it's hard to keep. I get that some people love it, and I'm in no way like speaking ill of it. But like some people just move on or whatever.
Sometimes the programming becomes autopilot, right? And there's no new stories, and there's no new this and new that, and you're like kind of like, whatever. Change.
That's what this is, dude. You know? It's like, oh man, you have another extension situation. Oh yeah, so
wow! We're sitting here about Parsons. We're sitting here about Parsons, and we got by the way, Tyler Smith. Yeah, you're on deck.
But like, not even that. But it's like, oh no, and this one scrubbed his social media. You know what I mean? Like, wow, it's and tomorrow you're going to be on Stephen A. Smith's show talking about this.
I can't wait.
I want to go back. You brought this up both here and right before we started recording. Ed Werder just tweeted this out right now. So Ed saying, I'm old enough to, it actually wasn't right now, it was a while ago, but I'm old enough to remember Micah Parsons standing in the Cowboys locker room end of last season and saying he didn't need to be paid $40 million, obviously annually, if it meant retaining defensive talent around him. Hard to believe where Jerry Jones is now with the team's best defensive player and his agent. I'm bringing this up because I do not like calling people a liar. That's not my thing. I don't mean it in like a sacred way or anything. It's just, it's not my move. Sure. Not to call him a liar. I never bought that. I always from day one thought that it was posturing, that it was that if I was his agent, if I was his friend, I'd be like, dude, say it, like, because they're going to drag this out. And while they drag it out, everyone else is going to get paid, and your floor that you're establishing right now is just going to naturally rise, and people will understand it. So, and then we'll be able to say on August 21st that you said back in December that you would take this, and you'll make them look even worse. That's where like I believe that Mulugeta and Micah have been from a PR standpoint well ahead of the Cowboys, like at every turn. Today felt like the Cowboys trying to play some catch up, and maybe Jerry got a few jabs in or whatever. But did you buy that? Like, did you really like? I don't mean to like make fun of you, but I think you're really naive if you really bought that.
No. See, it's funny because Micah is a young man, right? Let's all make no mistake about it. He's a young man still, not making top dollar yet, which he will eventually, no matter if it's us or somebody else, whatever. But what I'm saying is, like, he might have said that last year in the heat of the moment and saying, like, I don't need to be the highest paid, man. I just want this team to be good, right? I wouldn't be surprised if his phone just starts vibrating out of nowhere and it's his agent's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, do not say that again, right? Like, because that's your agent. That's your the guy that's supposed to be looking after all the things that you do, your every move, making sure you're in the right and not, staying out of trouble and all this other crap. But like, imagine somebody saying like, oh, they have 50 million available. I don't need all that, man. Just give me like 30 or something. Like the agent, like, what are you doing? Yeah. So I think it like for him, it might have been genuine in the moment, trying to be the good guy.
There might have been some truth to it. I get what you're saying. Like,
but overall, like, no, I didn't buy that for a second. Like as the grand scheme, like, no, dude, you don't say that.
Yeah, and that's what. But like, maybe it wasn't as manipulative as I'm hypothesizing, but like if I had to guess, and now I'm really not trying to be a cynic, but I think it was say this now so that because we all know how they're going to be, again, because this was said in December. We all know what they're going to do. We all know how they're going to be. Like, this is going to age like fine wine in the eyes of the general public. And I think it did. Yeah, I mean, like, so, and maybe that was just a coincidence. AJ, by the way, says what's up to both of us. So what's up, AJ? And so, like, because now, like, and I'm not making fun of Ed for saying this, but like now Ed Werder can tweet it on August 21st. And if you're the Cowboys, you do look kind of stupid because he said it. Like, whether you believe him or Sturch believes him or RJ believes him or believed him or not, he did say it. Like, the man it may have been a little bit of a gamble, right? Like a little bit of a bluff. But it worked. It works like in his argument right now.
And you know, Ed, that tweet was great. And then Todd Archer put something out too right before that, and he was just like, "Hey man, why is everybody up in arms about the scrubbing of social media when 20 days ago he said I don't want to play for the Cowboys anymore?" Like, so, and that's what threw me. That's why I've always been, look, Dak's my guy. I'll die on that hill. Zeke was my guy. You know that, and I would die on his hill, right, and all that stuff. But for the first time ever, as soon as that tweet went out and said like I don't want to be a Cowboy anymore, I was like, all right, then what are we doing here? You know what I mean? And I understand that Myles Garrett asked for a trade, and this guy asked for a trade, and this guy asked for a trade. But I think the verbiage that Micah used in that long 3-page note tweet that he put out, it just felt a little bit more like, I am so sick of this crap that I'm just like, I'm out, and I don't want to be here no more. And in the moment, he might have had all the truth to that, you know, and I don't blame him for the circus that is the Dallas Cowboys.
So this is the Todd tweet that you're talking about from, it was actually, we're getting our wires crossed. This was, it was 5 minutes after Ed. So and I get what Todd is saying and I get what you're saying, but Todd said, I think Micah Parsons writing on August 1st and no longer wanted to play for the Cowboys would mean a lot more than him scrubbing the Cowboys from his social media feeds. I agree with that. And I mean, I agree, like the social media thing is silly, but the fact that the social media thing happened 20 days after the trade request and that there's been no progress and no communication since then makes it a bigger deal than it's still not like the social media thing in and of itself is not like, oh my gosh, like our pets' heads are falling off. But it you know, like in conjunction with everything about, like if Micah scrubbed his social media feeds on March 17th, you know what I mean? Like I would not be panicked. But the fact that it's happened on August 21st, especially given what happened on August 1st, and especially given everything that happened prior to August 1st, and especially given everything that we know about this team over the course of the last 3 decades, I mean, my point is like, you know, my body's already like super cut open, and like this is another slash of the knife. Like it still hurts, you know.
Well,
but
to
like
me, it just feels numb. It just I'm numb now. You know what I mean? Like when he did that for the first time ever, I'm sitting on my couch, you know, watching the Yankees lost, by the way, watching the Yankees lose to the Red Sox. I see that's the scrubbing thing, and I went like this. I was like, you know, like I wasn't, you know, it was just like, okay,
that's a good question, because like when he I know you're talking about the scrubbing thing, but when he had the trade request, I was annoyed, very annoyed and very mad, but I was in no way panicked. Like I was in no way budging from my thought that he would be playing for the Dallas Cowboys, that he would be getting an extension with the Cowboys. That has taken a hit in the last 20 days. I don't know, like if confidence meter was like 100%, I don't know where I'm at. Like I'm still maybe like at 85. Like I'm not, you know, anywhere like if it was like color coded, I'm still somewhat like lime green, not even down to the yellow part yet. But I mean, I was at 100. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the fact that we're not there anymore is concerning.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that the panic thing, like when he put out that tweet, I was more angry at the Joneses at that moment. At that moment, I was like, man, Jerry, like, how did you fumble this? Like this, you know, and Dak, to me, all-pro quarterback, runner-up MVP. I think he's a great quarterback. CeeDee Lamb, I think right now, top 3 receiver in football. Micah Parsons, that dude is also probably a top 3 edge rusher in football, to me at least. I mean, that's just me talking, but like I'm still like, you can't fumble this again. Like we went through this crap twice last year in one off season. So that like when he was like, you know what, the hell with this, I want off this team, I was like, part of me was like, oh, come on, Jerry, like how did you do this? But then part of me was like, all right, then go. I mean, like, because when DeMarcus Lawrence left and he's had all his words to say, I was like, all right, bye-bye. You know, like at this point, I was like, goodbye. I was like, dude, all right, man, you want to, yeah, I was like, you want to talk like that after leaving? It's like, man, come on. Like,
I do think it was Bush League to
give you $150 million over the course of 5 years, 6 years.
Before I get to the Micah thing, on the D-Law thing, because I can believe that you like lost sleep that night, that you were just like, can't believe, you know, like just like you were like the shorter guy in Home Alone, like just like, you know, exactly. I thought it was Bush League because we said at the top that like I think we're both homers a lot, but like we're not blind. Like there are true, like they exist, but the like We Dem Boys fans are not as like populated in society as the national media makes it out to be. I would offer that the average Cowboys fan is a lot more apathetic about the team than, you know, general media has you believe.
Right.
So that being said, what was Bush League about what DeMarcus Lawrence said to me was like, okay, dude, like we all know that the things that people say are silly and annoying, and those were the first arrows you shot. You know what I mean? Like if you want to criticize, like there's a long list, man. Like we'll give you some material to work with that's intelligent and logical, but like to be like they're never winning the Super Bowl is like, okay, this isn't even clever. You know what I mean? Like that's what bothered me. It was like,
ooh, sick burn, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like I'm all for it. Like you want to burn the team again, let's roast them, dude. Like I'm right there with you. But you know, it was literally like, well, I'm rubber and they're glue. So you know, who's the real winner here? So that was my take on the deal. I really wasn't bothered by the comments. It was just the quality of the burn. We both used the word mad, and I certainly want to hear what the chat has to hear. Who are you the most mad at right now?
Right now.
But I want your top 3 in order. So I think the 3 candidates, and you can certainly go off script if you want, and this applies to both you in the chat, but the 3 candidates seemingly would be Jerry, David Mulugeta, and Micah. If you have a 4th name that you want to introduce to the equation,
there's
maybe
always
Steven.
a 4th name, man. No.
But
Charlotte Jones, really. The whole pie thing, she got me really mad.
By the way, King James says about as clever as cowgirls. Exactly. Like that's exactly what DeMarcus Lawrence did. He was like, "Oh, the cowgirls, they're never going to win." Like that's exactly what it was.
What I've been combating now. A lot of people are like, "Oh, if you want to watch a Super Bowl, you have to go get a VHS." I'm like, "No, I got YouTube, dork." Like it's all on YouTube now. No, but if I had to rank my anger towards everybody right now, after all the things considered, after everything that we've heard and said and tweeted out and all this other stuff, I would say number 1 right now is Mulugeta to me.
Number 1 for you.
He's number 1 for me.
Okay.
Because
I think Micah's going to be 3 for most people, but I mean maybe he's going to be number 2 for you. So we'll see.
No, because I think that he's doing a lot of things. Like Mulugeta is the one that's pulling the strings and making sure that nothing gets done until they say it's done, right? Like, and now that you have the offer in your mind on the table, what it could possibly have been, and then it didn't get done. So now I'm like, you know what, Mulugeta, get out of the way, right? Then you have to pass blame to the ownership and the way the front office has always operated this team since Jump Street. After when free agency started, it's like they all lost their minds. Like nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew which way was left and right. So I'm putting Jerry at 2, and then I'll put Micah at 3. The player, look, we're all pro player normally. Everybody should get every dollar they earn, right? And we get that. But yeah, in a scale of 1 to 3, Micah's 3rd on this because, you know, Aikman said it best. He's like, you know, they're going to be worse if he's not there. Like if he's not there, that's the leverage for him, is that they're going to be bad. And I don't say this is like Emmitt Smith missing 2 games bad, but like, because look, I think we're going to be a middle of the pack defense. That's just my guess right now. But like, you add Micah Parsons, they get a lot better, right? So, but overall, I know the roundabout way to say who I'm mad at, and it's the agent right now, number 1.
I'm definitely most mad at Jerry, like individually, and it's because you said a moment ago that he fumbled, and my new take is, and it's very difficult to condense into a tweet, but we say things like, oh, how this is the dumbest front office in the NFL. This is the most incompetent front office in the NFL. They're simply not. Like we're at a point where this isn't incompetence. This isn't a lack of intelligence, right? Like I certainly don't mean any disrespect to you and I, but like we know nothing about running an NFL team.
We don't.
But like we understand this basic principle, right? Like everyone in the chat, everyone who's watching after the fact, like everyone on social media understands this basic principle. So like to call them dumb is giving them an excuse, is giving them a pass. You know what I'm saying? Like it's acting like they don't, like this is like a child. Like no, you know better. Like you know not, like you know what I'm saying?
Your big word lately, and I've seen it a lot in your tweets and your responses, is malpractice.
Yeah, like
and I agree with that, because it's just like when you have something and you know what's next. It's like, all right, like I have a drink right here, and in order to drink this drink, I can't not. I have to take the cap off, right? If I don't take the cap off, I can't drink the drink. So it's like it's malpractice if I don't take the freaking cap off. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a step process thing that I feel like they're missing the steps. You know,
so, but like as I unpack the analogy we're unpacking, I almost like don't even agree with that, because they know the steps. Like they know how to do, like they can do it. Like we
malpractice.
This is like, you know, my son is 3 now. I know your son is right around that age too.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, no, you know how to do this. Like I've seen you do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know I will help you because I'm your dad and I love you, but like I know you know how to put your pants on type thing. And so you're just like you right now in my son's case, it's like, in fact, sometimes he'll be like, no, I want to be a baby. It's like, okay, well, let's have a talk here, kid. But like, that's what the Joneses are doing. Like they want to, in their version, be a baby. Like they want to do it their way for whatever reason, whether you think that's generating attention, whether you think they're just like obsessed with toxicity, whatever. But like, it is not.
Well, I like the pain.
Yeah. Like,
do you? Because I don't.
It's not like a lack of understanding, and it's not like not being able to see, like, because like there are brilliant people who work for the Cowboys, like, you know what I mean? Like, like I always feel for them. It must be terrible to be just like ruled by this, overlord who's gonna like just drag you all no matter what. And you're watching it happen, like we're watching the house burn from outside, they're watching it burn from within, which has got to be a very
they're the everything's fine meme where like everything's burning around them. They're like, everything's fine. I don't know what the frick you're talking about.
That's like, but the Cowboys themselves are not the dog. The Cowboys are like, everything is not fine, and this is exactly how we like it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like if the house were like perfectly stable, you wouldn't stop. If the house are perfectly stable, it wouldn't be on the news. If the house are perfectly stable, we wouldn't be able to file an insurance claim.
But if they weren't on the news, Jerry would start a new fire.
That's exactly. Like so that's why like I don't find them to be like dumb or incompetent. Like they know exactly what they're doing. They knew exactly what this was going to be. They knew all along. They knew in March of last year that if they focused on Dak and CD, whatever, that they were going to let this happen. They're going to make the same excuses. And what's pissing me off now, my new thing is like, you are costing yourself George Pickens in the future. And I remind everyone, well, I was against the trade. I don't know if you saw that, but I was against it.
I didn't see that.
I've atoned for it. But even then, even the day they made the trade, even though I was against it, I said, okay, fine. You've crossed this line, extend him right now. Even as someone who was against it, my logic was like, he's entering a contract year. Like, this is worthless if you don't get an extension done. So do it right now. It was identical to the Eagles trading for AJ Brown. They got the extension done right away. And he happens to be a similar player from a production standpoint. So that kind of works. But my point is,
Philadelphia just got John Mechie, so apparently that's way better. So I mean, according to their fan base, so that's
this
cool.
point, like that's probably true. Like they've earned that benefit of the doubt. But so that being said, you're costing yourself this, and like whatever we define the win. I don't think you can answer that. I can't answer what we think the Cowboys would be winning. Even if you get Micah to agree to the terms, maybe that's winning. That he agreed to in your informal conversation. Was it worth it? Like what was it truly worth it? If you save whatever it is, like $20 million guaranteed, if you save $3 million annually, was it worth it? Was it worth it to show your rear end to the whole world and to piss off and isolate yourself from the agent community and make George Pickens more expensive and any future client that David Mulligata represents? It's not even David Mulligata's clients. Like if you're just average, agent X, Agent Joe, like you're watching this happen. You're like, well, I'm not going to let this happen to me either. I may not be as powerful as David Mulligata, but there's no way that I'm going to let them handle my, like, if you're a bugaboo is like, I really hate it when players involve their agents. Like the very first thing about Tyler Smith that I'm doing is seeing like, dude, I'm not talking to you without my agent. Like it would be like saying
this has to be a learning lesson, you would assume,
yeah,
right?
It's like, again, back to like a little kid when, if you were to be like, oh man, I really hope nobody pushes me in the pool, guys. You know what I mean? And then like you just like you're baiting this problem in the future. Right. And so even if you win this particular battle, you have already lost many future ones in the overall war.
Yeah, I think that this, like, you would think after last year in specific with Dak and CD, you would think that, okay, look, that was tiring. That was exhausting. That was like unnecessary, right? But you locked it down. You got the deals done. Everything's in place. You got the tandem for the next 4 years, right? And you're like, okay, cool. So let's never do that again. So you waited, what, 10 months before you did it again? Actually, no. A lot less than that, because Dak's contract was signed like as the season was starting. So it's like that was September. So now you're like, you thought the lessons would be learned and they weren't. And now you even got deeper now, because now, and again, Jerry likes to harp on this, and he said it on Michael Irvin's show or podcast, whatever that is. He said, he's like, well, look at this relationship we have now. 30 years later, look at all that. We're still buddies. We're still in business together. We still do this. We still do that. Okay. Maybe tell him that. If he signs now, I'll take care of him for the next 50 years of his life. Bro, You should know that already. You should know based off of Dallas Cowboys programming of who's still around in this. Like, doesn't do I think they all deserve mic time? No, but guess what? Jerry is doing right by all his boys, right?
Okay,
so it's like
that's fine. Even if we we could probably sit here and even if we could get to 100 names, 100 boys who Jerry is taking care of, what fraction of that is that of all players that have played for the team? Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, so this idea that like if you play, like you're set for life is like, okay, you might be if you're Michael Irvin. You know what I mean? And Micah Parsons might be Michael Irvin someday. Like,
I think he has a brilliant future in broadcasting and stuff.
But my point is like this implication that like you're set for life. Like, is like Andrew Gatchkar still getting taken care of by the Cowboys because he played for them in this magical, wonderful organization?
You haven't listened to the new Julius Jones podcast?
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and granted, like some like the what was it, the Mark Colombo, Flozell Adams, Kyle Kozar, like rock band stuff like that, I will chalk that up to some of it being like the Cowboys of it all. But like again, this idea that it's worth the sacrifice. Like I say it like this all the time now. The most popular player in the world plays in Kansas City, Missouri, this small Midwest town. Like the NFL is bigger than the Cowboys. Like at one point in time, like this meant something, and you could become Michael Irvin. But like, how many commercials has like Baker Mayfield been in, and what markets has he played in his career?
Cleveland, Carolina,
and even Carolina was just like a cup of coffee. Like the ones were Cleveland and Tampa Bay.
But I guarantee you, what's this guy? I think guarantee you he was on a billboard for about a minute. You know what I mean? Like, here's our savior.
He had all the like, I don't know if it was State Farm or Progressive, but he had a run. He's had like Hulu. My point is like you can be like Travis Henry is the most like amazing individual athlete we've ever seen in Jacksonville, Florida. Like you do not need the Cowboys brand to make you like Travis Kelce also plays in Kansas City, Missouri, and is dating the most famous woman in the world. You do not need the Cowboys brand.
Well, that's what I was when they started talking trade. I was like, all right, it better be like Tennessee or Vegas or somewhere where it's like, okay, if he goes there, he's not going to impact us, and he can shine and become a Hall of Fame player somewhere else, but he's just never going to get in our way. Like when the whole Packers thing started coming about, I was like, do you really think, I mean, like we said before, the Joneses aren't dumb. Do you really think they would trade him to the Green Bay Packers for 5 first-round picks if they knew in week 4 they weren't coming to town? You know what I mean? Like, this is like, that's malpractice. But like, I was hoping, all right, if he's going to go anywhere, let him go to Pittsburgh, whatever, like somewhere where we just don't have to worry about him. If in the event we're in a Super Bowl, fine, but I listen, at the end of the day, I truly think that this whole thing, like I said before, has been fumbled. It's been done wrong. I thought they would have learned their lesson last year with a lot of the contract disputes. They did not. They dragged this out even worse than last year. Worse, if that's even imaginable. This is worse than last year, and it's only one of their players, not 2. So this is just it's tiring. It's everybody's kind of like, okay, like hands up in the air, like, all right, dude, enough is enough. Do I think Micah Parsons will be lining up for the Cowboys this year? I say all signs point to yes, but like at the end of the day, enough's enough with this charade. It's annoying.
See, like I really think that it's no longer even entertaining. You know what I mean? Like if I was not a Cowboys fan, if I was an Eagles fan, I've like at some point it's like, dude, you're just punching down. You know what I mean? Like sometimes Eagles fans will respond to like my tweets hating on the front office, and they'll be like the Howie Roseman gif, and it's like, do you think you're like this is a fair fight? Like are you like flexing? Like my new take that I'm quite proud of is like my new cope is it's embarrassing that the Eagles only have 2 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Like because they've been fighting a team who's tying both hands behind their back. It's like you could only get 2.
Well, that's
kind
of that's my defense to a lot of these fans who are like, well, we got 2 in the last couple of years. I'm like, yeah, but since 1960, you guys have been around just as long as us. How do you only have 2?
I'm not even going to that point. Like I recognize that's a valid.
That's my last. That is like my last haymaker if I can, because I'm not one of those like 5 rings, bro. And I'm like, no. Clearly, we haven't done shit.
Mine is like, okay, so you mean to tell me Howie's the smartest general manager alive and that has ever lived, and that he's going up against the Cowboys self-sabotaging, and he can only win 2. You know what I mean? Like, and let like the Niners, you guys can't even win a single one. You know what I mean?
Like my father says it all the time. He's like, not for nothing, but based off the parity of the NFL, and I know we've dealt with the Tom Brady's of the Patriots and now the Chiefs, and but based on the parity of the NFL, you would think that we would have made an NFC title game by accident at this point. You know what I mean? Like, oh, by the way, we're there. No, it gets better. It gets better.
I used to bring this up a lot. Do you remember? Because we're similar in age. There was a very popular when YouTube was like taking off YouTube video about a Cleveland Browns fan and the Factor of Sadness. Do you remember this video?
Yes.
So for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's just this like guy after the Browns lost. It's like I think 2007, and he's just like mad that they lost, and he's screaming at the stadium. But he had a line in there that I've referenced a lot, and it's just really because it's amazing. He said he's telling the Browns, like yelling at the team, and he says, "Do you realize that it is actually statistically harder to be this consistently bad than it would be for you to sometimes accidentally, occasionally be good?" And like to that point, it's like, this is actually impressive that you're just this consistent, because you like the blind squirrel will find it before you will at this rate. So, okay, I want to ask this question, and it's a complicated question, but that's why we're here. It goes without saying that, like, if we all put our hands in right now, like prayer circle, what do we want? We all want Micah to, I think we all want Micah to get extended, Cowboys to play well, win the Super Bowl, whatever. So understanding that that's priority, goal, wish number one for all of us. What are you rooting for? Like that's not eligible here. What are you rooting for at this point? And if you want, I can go first to kind of help you get a frame of reference for this idea.
I think this one's easy for me since he's one of the guys I mentioned before. I'm rooting for Dak. Like I think there's no.
I meant rooting for with regards to the Micah situation. That's what I'm talking. Like again, ideal situation is this gets taken care of. Everyone's singing campfire songs and Micah.
Oh yeah, if we're talking,
relative to the Micah situation, what are you rooting for? What's your ideal outcome? And I'll go first to help you out because it is a weird question. Again, ideal world is it gets worked out and everything's great. If it can't be that, if like the genie were to be like, nope, sorry, I don't do that one. You know what I mean? I would be like, okay, dude, then I like give me a Trojan horse. Like if Micah has to go, if that must happen, if he has to be traded away, if I have to square that, the only way I can be okay with it is if it leads to eventual change. And I don't know what that would look like. I don't know if it's like the Joneses getting that embarrassed. I don't know if it's like player mutiny. I don't know, whatever. But like my hope would be if Micah is traded, that it is the straw that breaks the camel's back, if that makes sense. I would want it to be something that served as a catalyst for the culture of the organization, which is the problem here, obviously. Whether you think Micah and his agent are to blame or whatever, we all agree the culture is the primary issue. So my hope would be that the culture is forced to change for one reason or another if he's gone for whatever reason.
I'm like I said, I'm fully convinced he'll be here. Like that's how I don't think there's a trade that's a scenario that doesn't exist to me. It just doesn't. I'm rooting for Jerry to finally say, you know what, the whole thing is gone far enough. Dave, give me a call. Let's work this out, and we get it done. And he gets his extension, and it's a kumbaya moment. But in regards to like timing of it, it needs to happen like, Monday of next week before cut day or something like that. Like something where it's a lull in the time frame of the NFL news list, because Tuesday people are going to get cut, right? And people are like, oh, what's going to happen here? Oh, this one's going to get signed here. It needs to happen as a standalone thing because that's Jerry move, right? Jerry wants to make sure the headlines are his. I say you got to get it done. Swallow your pride. And then know that going forward, you have to make a deep commitment to yourself. I mean, let's all be honest. Like Jerry Jones I don't think he's got 10 years left as an active GM, right? I think like eventually he's going to be like, all right, time's up. Like Steven, take over. You would think right now, my biggest wish right now is that Steven Jones is watching all this and saying, boy, oh boy, I can't go through this crap. Like, and he's the one who changes, and he's the one who and I know we're all sitting there like, wow, he's got a clone behind him ready to rock and roll. Like, I think that this situation, the last 2 years of a situation with all these players, has to be getting to Jerry in a way where I understand, like, I like the pain, and he's got the documentaries, he's got the glitz and the glamour and all this other stuff. But I think there was a couple moments in that documentary that you just like, you realized this guy really, really, really does want one more before he's over. And I think he's going to have to cave and start to finally realize that this is not the way to run a professional football team when it comes to contracts and negotiations, because you've screwed it up so many times. and I'm not just talking about the last couple of years. I mean, Dez and Romo and, you know, all these, the constant contracts that we've had to deal with. I just think that he has to just say, you know, enough's enough. And he has to just kind of just like, all right, you know, like you just take your last punch, Mulligetta, and that's it. Because now all of a sudden, Micah Parsons hit him where it hurts the most. Let's be completely honest. I know it's a stupid little scrubbing of social media, but he is now taking away the fact that he's got anything to do with the Dallas Cowboys, and that's going to burn Jerry to hopefully cave on all this and just get something done, even if it means doing something just totally uncharacteristic of Jerry Jones. That's it. Long-winded answer, I know, but I just like I tried to frame it as much as I could. I just couldn't.
I'm sure that there may be another that I'm forgetting, but the only other instance of a player scrubbing their social media that I can remember, and maybe it was because it was a big deal at the time, was 10 years ago when DeMarco Murray did it. And now, very different thing. DeMarco was in the middle of free agency, not 2 weeks away from a season beginning, and was literally about to be a free agent. So again, not apples to apples, but he did. That was a big story at the time, was that DeMarco had wiped his social media and was seemingly so hell-bent on revenge. Maybe CD did it.
It seems like a younger generation.
Okay, fine. CD did it, and I don't. Okay, you're right. You're all right. Thank you for the chat that CD did it. But my point is, DeMarco did it and didn't get a deal. Just stick with me for a second. Didn't get a deal. And where did he go? When he had full autonomy and he could go where he wanted, where did he go? He went to Philadelphia. He went to go get revenge. He went to go
got 2 yards in his return. Get off it.
Okay, but my point is he was that pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the lesson to be learned from this. And I don't mean to be like cryptic or whatever, but I think we're at a point with the Micah thing in regards to there's no good solution now. Like, it could end with him getting an extension, but it will never be the same. It's one of those things where everyone has a situation in their life with their friend group or their family, something happened and you may all still be together, but it simply now will never be the same. There is no, 100% good result out of all of this. It may be 51% good. It may qualify. It may technically soar over the bar, not soar, but just make it over the bar of what is bare minimum defined to be good. But I do not think that there is a positive, fully positive way that this situation ends. I think that even if Micah plays for the Cowboys for the foreseeable future, I think that there's just been irreparable damage done.
Is there any world we live in where, again, are the Cowboys built with Micah Parsons to win a Super Bowl this year? Sources say no, right? But if things, we didn't have Parsons for a couple games because of all this, and then he finally signs, and we turn it all around, and we do one on this run, and we do an Emmett type thing. Do we all look at this and say remember that time we were just going crazy?
We don't look at this at all. Or do you think it's that
irreversible?
No, because the logic of it was always flawed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I said this last year with Dak. There had to be a point of no return. There had to be a point, and I would have killed them if they had let Dak go, to be very clear. But there had to be a point where you logically told yourself, okay, if we don't get the deal done by June 1st, then we're just not going to do it. We're going to be prepared to live with the consequences, because we made that decision. But by signing Dak on literally the day that the season began, you did that thing literally in the most inefficient way possible. There wasn't a more inefficient way to do that. And so the Micah thing could get done, and they could go undefeated, and they could win the Super Bowl. And I would be very happy about it, to be very clear. And I think you would be too. But that would in no way change how stupid it was of an entire process. If you made 3 rights and I made a left, we would both still ultimately be going west. But, we wouldn't be saying hey, man, we took identical paths to get here. No, you know what I mean? One was way harder and way more work and way more unnecessary.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And, it's so weird to just refer to social media as a platform to air your grievances. And, 2 days ago, you're looking at Micah Parsons' Twitter, and he's having fun with Trayvon Diggs after a team break. And everybody's like, you know what, man, he's still having fun out there. He's still with his boys. Everything's going to get worked out. It's going to be fine. Then you get this Michael Irvin interview, and it's just it's like a deep exhale. You're like, Man, and it did to me. I think it was eye opening. It was in regards to what Jerry was willing to do or willing to pay or whatever. Telling Michael Irvin, if you want to come down to the Star, I'll show you the contract. You know what I mean? Like I'll show you the terms on my piece of paper, right? All that crap. It's just like I said. I think tonight Jerry Jones took in a pro wrestling, and I said it on Twitter. Pro wrestling turned babyface, meaning turned into the good guy for a minute, and made David Mulligeta public enemy number 1 for about 2 hours. And then people just said, you know what? No, wait, hold on. Like this whole thing just still sucks. Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, I would say 2 things. One, to use wrestling parlance, this whole thing smells like kayfabe to me. Like this I mean, like truly, like it's that dumb. You know what I mean? Like it really is. But this is simply a prediction, an out of thin air, just from my gut prediction. If it were me, like when I make a plan for something, whatever in my life, I like to say, okay, if this reaches this point, then this is going to be my action sequence, right? Like I have like detailed plans. Like if this changes, I'm going to do that, whatever. I would assume that Micah and his agent, laid this out. They said, okay, if we get to, training camp and you don't have a deal, this is our course of action. If we get to the first padded practice and you don't, like, what I'm saying? Like they had
there's definitely a structure.
Yeah. Like they had to have these like varied checkpoints, and there had to be like a level of like, okay, and this is our first way we press. This is our second way. This is our third. Like this is, this is our continued pattern of turning up the heat or whatever. And my prediction or guess or hypothesis, gut feeling, whatever is, this is a very calculated group. So Jerry can say what he wants to Michael Irvin. I would assume that there are some receipts. I mean, I would assume that, like, I do not believe that Micah and his representation are just going to sit there and take Jerry, trying to rewrite the narrative. That's just my prediction.
Just wait till tomorrow. Like, just wait till tomorrow.
That's my, again, it's a pure wild guess, but like based on everything we've seen, like which side has held all of the cards? You know what I'm saying? Like, and just continues to be like,
this is going to get real pro wrestling. It's going to get real Jerry Springer too. Tomorrow, Jerry Jones is going to be on the Stephen A. Smith show. And then he's going to say something about Micah. And then all of a sudden, Stephen A is going to be like, well, you know what? We got a little bit of a surprise for you because Micah's here. like, oh, Micah. Can you imagine if the one who brought everything together was Stephen A. Smith? And then we're like, wait, hold on. What world are we living in right now? But yeah, this whole thing is... it's funny. I refer to what you said in the link when you're like, I'm sending you the link, and just like in the body of the link, it says everything sucks because that's exactly what's happening right now. Everything sucks.
To close, like I'm very, very, very blessed to do this for a living, and I never ever take it for granted. I try not to, but man, like, dude, this freaking sucks. Like, this isn't fun. I mean, the season, like 2 weeks from now, the season opener will be over. Like
2 weeks from this moment right now, we'll be talking about a win or a loss.
And like. It's like
we win.
all I want to do is be like, okay, this is the meat I'm going to smoke that day, and like this is the jersey I want to wear, and like this is what, like, you know what I mean? Like I want to like be able to feel that way, but like this just exists as this cloud that it just like sucks all of the oxygen in the room. And everybody, every single one of us, every Cowboys fan, every person watching this, whatever, has the friend, the annoying friend or cousin or coworker that's like, can you believe what Jerry said? Yeah, we can believe it. Like we if you think it's stupid, like we've thought it's dumb for a very, very long time. Like you need to get in line to chastise this behavior. So
right.
It's just such a bummer how much it's ruining what, like, the best time of year is literally arriving, and the Cowboys are like, you think you're gonna have some fun? Oh no, we're gonna ruin every single second.
My friend. Hold my beer. Yeah, you're right. It is supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, and it is still, to be honest. Let's be honest. Like, yeah, it does stink and everything. To me, at least, it does suck, and I'm still very excited that the Cowboys football is back, and we get to do cut down day and predict the 53 and all that fun stuff that we do as creators and journalists and all that stuff. But yeah, this cloud that's hanging over right now is just it's a dampering thing. So it's like anything that's like, I was banging on for at least the last 2 months. I was like, hey, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Cowboys are going to go into Philly and win. Like I truly, I'm still kind of staying on that hill, because if you're going to pick off a team like that, it's going to happen on week 1 when everybody's kind of like, ooh, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? But like now, I mean,
it would be awesome. Like I don't ever feel like, man, Jerry's a real showman anymore. I mean, like I've just,
Oh, we're all numb to it.
That's what, yeah. Like it's like, okay, you want to go see Santa at the mall? Okay, like that's kind of how I feel about it.
What do you want you want a new contract for Christmas? Is that what you want? Like,
but
no,
but like what I'm getting at is like if this went south, whatever, if I guess maybe we're already here, whatever, and Micah held out, Micah didn't play the first game, and they smashed the Eagles. Like I would be pumped for the next Jerry interview. Like I would be like, I mean, I would let go of all logic and reason for a moment, and I would be like, go off, King. You know what I mean? Like,
was it Tony Pollard who went off and they did the Zeke who thing? Was that Tony Pollard who went?
No, because it was in the preseason. It might have been. You're right, but like,
I don't know.
That was a different thing. Like,
but I'm saying like that's what we would do. Like we would win in Philly. And then be like, well, what do you think about Micah? I'd be like, well, I think Marshawn Nealon is a fantastic player. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, great. No, that would be 2 sacks.
That would be awesome. Like that would be it would be similar to different thing and maybe a bit of a bad omen, but like when the Bears traded for Khalil Mack, and then in his first game that Sunday night, remember he just like destroyed Aaron Rodgers, and he had like a pick six. Like it was like every time he moved, it was just like making the Raiders look stupid. Like it was awesome, and they lost that game, but like still, like it was like it would be just like that. It would be like it would I would truly like get popcorn. I would be like, all right, Jerry, son of a gun, you got me this time. You know what I mean? You and I are co-stars in your Netflix documentary. So
we don't live in that world right now. So
I know.
All hypotheticals.
Sturch, let's get out of here as we do. Plug away and closing thoughts and good night kisses for everybody in the chat, please.
Yeah, no, first of all, I appreciate you letting me come on. It's been a minute since you and I talked on this, as instead of like replying to tweets. Or you responding to my 8-year-old videos because those are just
actually, let's hear that story real quick as you kind of sign off there.
So I was touring the stadium. My grandfather lived in Fort Worth growing up, and when we went out to see him, my mom had promised me she didn't have enough money to go to the game, but she had enough money to get a tour right the next day after a win. Preseason win, mind you, by the way. I think it was against the Vikings, if I'm not mistaken. Beat the Vikings on like a Saturday, took the tour on a Sunday. And Fox News was there. And believe it or not, the anchor of Fox News who threw it to that report was Kurt Menefee. So he was doing his thing real early in Dallas. He was on like Dallas 5 or whatever, like the local 5. And I was there with my mother and my brother. And, for whatever reason, they picked me out and they're like, what do you think about Barry Switzer? And I was like, me being my 8-year-old self, I was like, oh, he's going to be great. This is awesome. We just ransacked the Vikings in preseason. This is going to be the best season of all time. Little did I know he would lose the championship game, but we won the Super Bowl the next year, so it's okay. But yeah, just memories like that. And I was able to grab the tape and have it forever now. And the coolest part about that video is that they're saying like he's a long distance fan all the way from New Jersey. So I never bought into the whole, you got to be from Texas. It's America's team. My father raised me this way. It's a blessing and a curse. He's probably telling people at this point, or telling me, okay, stop telling everybody it's my fault that you're a Cowboys fan, because he doesn't want to take responsibility for that. But yeah, no, it was awesome to be on here with you, man. And if you want to follow anything I got going on, I'm on Twitter at Dave Sturchio. And of course, the Jersey Boys podcast, we go live Tuesdays. It's me, Brett Ernst of Cobra Kai. That's cousin Louie, and his brother Keith Ernst. We're 3 New Jersey born guys growing up in enemy territory. I think that's the cool niche, that not everybody's a Giants fan or a Jets fan or an Eagles fan or Washington fan over there on the East Coast. We're all diehard Cowboys fans. So we've been doing it for 5 years. We're on season 5. And yeah, man, it's been a heck of a night tonight. And hopefully tomorrow we wake up and don't have to watch Stephen A. Smith.
We will be watching.
We all will be watching. Yeah. We can't get away from it. No way.
A few things to close. Jersey Boys rule. I don't remember what the intro is, but if it doesn't involve that news person's clip saying like this kid came all the way from Jersey, like,
no, it doesn't actually.
That should totally be like mixed. No,
I had a buddy of mine voice record himself as Tony Soprano, and
yeah, that you can keep that, but like my point is like that should be like, I mean that
right.
Works.
You're absolutely right.
A joke I've been holding on to that I'm saving for the right time for when anyone sees the tweet, because I think it'll blow up. I keep the one like trash show I still watch is The Challenge on MTV, and I keep seeing commercials for the like Jersey Shore reunion, whatever. Which I apologize because that probably really bummed y'all out. Like the reputation it made for y'all.
It ruined a lot of things. It ruined a lot of things for us. I used to like going to the Jersey Shore to boardwalk games, have fun, yay! And then they came and they just destroyed it.
Well, so I keep seeing the promos during the season of the challenge that it's like they're doing like an anniversary, and the situation keeps saying like I can't believe it's been 15 years. So it's been 15 years since the Jersey Shore premiered. And it premiered 15 years after the last Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl.
Ugh.
Like,
oh, like God.
Think about that.
Like I said, man, we should have really won by accident at this point.
And last thing, I just saw this while we were getting ready to close. Bobby Belt tweeted this out.
Love Bobby.
Said Micah posted. The show won't pick up the sound, but Micah posted photos of himself kissing goodbye, waving goodbye, set to an Allen Iverson sound, that says "I'm a win wherever I go."
Okay. Yes, you are, Mike. Yes, you are. I don't know what do you.
Does that make you feel worse? Like
it's like the charade. Like it's all, it's stuff. It's like you just cryptic. It's all verbal diarrhea at this point. Like we know. Listen, the fan base wants you. We know you want to be here. We remember the draft night video. If it's Dallas, I'm gonna cry. You're like, I get it, man. We all want to be a loving, happy family, Cowboys fans and Cowboys together. It's a business. We get it. We just hope. That's 99%. I always say this to my friends and family and everybody listen. Being a fan is 99% hope and 1% reacting of what happens to your team. That's it. Like you just have to hope for the best. And if it doesn't happen, then yeah, you get mad for that 1%, fine. But then you move on and you keep rooting for your squad. So I love you, Micah. Please stick around.
Please
sign that friggin' deal and let's move forward. That's where I'll end it.
All right, let's chunk deuces. And Des caught it, and Mike McCarthy did nothing wrong.
Nothing.